Hey everyone, my name's Simon, and in this episode of MGUY, Bernie goes to the car hospital. So you join me in a poverty spec Volkswagen Golf with horror of horror fabric upholstery. As Bernie is currently having some work done, a couple of issues, one that's been hanging around for a while and one that's just developed. The one that's been hanging around for a while is the driver's side rear window motor, which is dead. That's being replaced. And the issue that's arisen quite recently is a coolant leak from somewhere. No obvious sign of coolant leaking on the ground, but coolant level warnings coming up after long journeys, having to top it up with quite a lot of juice. Turned out to be a cracked hose, which is kind of what we expected it would be. They tend to go brittle when they get old. So yeah, that's what's happening. So I'm in the loan car, which is a base model Golf, Volkswagen Golf, which isn't bad, I have to say. It's actually not bad. Yeah, it's all right. And they've had it overnight, and it should be back at some point later today. So here we are a few days later, back in Bernie, now repaired. So apologies that there hasn't been a video for a few days. I actually had a very quick trip to Bangalore in India, or Bengaluru as it's now called, and that was pretty full on. Very quick trip out there, 2 days, and then flying back. So it's put my schedule of videos out a little bit. But it was interesting to see what the traffic was like in Bangalore, and it was completely bonkers. Road rules are, or seem to be, advisory rather than mandatory. In other words, nobody takes any notice of them. Pretty much the taxi driver had his hand on the horn pretty much the whole time on the journey from the airport. It was dark, so I didn't get any video of that, but I do have a few clips that I took on the way back to the airport in daylight, so take a look. So, on to Bernie. As I think I mentioned a bit earlier, the main issue was a coolant leak, which I couldn't see where it was coming from, but it turned out to be a radiator hose, which was cracked. It's not unusual given the age of the car. These hoses get brittle and then crack and start leaking. You can't actually see the actual hoses because they're under this cover, but it was probably, I think it was the top hose fed into the radiator here that had cracked, so that's been repaired under there. It's good that it wasn't anything more catastrophic, because it could have stranded me on the side of the road if it had been if it had burst completely and flooded all of the coolant out of the engine in one go. It could have stranded me, but it didn't do that. Thanks, Bernie. And the other piece of work that was done was the rear driver's side window motor, which had failed. So that is now working again, which is great. So Bernie's doing pretty well, really. Used it for quite a few trips backwards and forwards to Canberra. No major issues, touch wood. We're up to nearly 187,000 kilometers, which means I've done about 6,000 kilometers in it already, and doing pretty well. I did notice this morning when I started it up, there was a little bit of a unevenness in the running just when after start. Couldn't tell if it was a misfire. I don't think it was quite bad enough to be a misfire, but that could be a number of things. Could be the plugs, could be the coil packs. We'll just have to keep an eye on that and see where it goes. The other issue that I haven't quite been able to resolve yet is that there is a vibration at about 80-90 kilometers an hour. It feels like a wheel balance issue, but I've had the wheels all balanced and it hasn't gone away. So I'm not quite sure what that could be. Unlikely to be a wheel bearing. Doesn't feel like a wheel bearing kind of noise, and that's quite different anyway. It feels like a balance issue, like a wheel balance, but that's been done, so I'm not sure what we can do now. Maybe a tyre that's got a bulge or something, or a wheel that's slightly, yeah, don't know. Again, it's something I just need to keep an eye on, and at some point it will either disappear or make itself known. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little update on Bernie, and just information about the radiator hose and the rear window motor replacement. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to smash that like. It would be great to have you as a subscriber, and hit that notification bell. Got some interesting content coming up. Next video is coming out soon, and that will be about some work on the CL65. You can follow me on Instagram at mguy.tv or Twitter at mguy_TV, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.